that be 11.3 then, Mr. Chair?
I'm going to confirm that.
It makes a big difference. I really want to know.
Accuracy, as with grammar, is everything.
I apologize.
CPA, you know.
Do a geo bond for prisons. You want to co-author that?
Here, let me turn my mic off here.
It's 12-3. It is 12-3, and we'll keep it open. So the last item on which we will be taking a vote today is AB 1620, which is our MOUs trailer bill. Then we'll go back to 1603 and 1609 just for presentation and hold the vote until our Wednesday Budget Committee hearing. Ms. Costa.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair. The major provisions of the labor MOU trailer bill include that it ratifies the contract between the administration and bargaining unit number 12. This contract includes a variety of salary and benefit increases, pre-funding of retiree healthcare benefits, and other cost containment measures that the administration is using to address the state's $74 billion unfunded retiree healthcare obligation. The bill also amends several government code sections to update and streamline the state's archaic civil service system. We've talked about this in some of our budget subcommittees as well as conference, which is the Civil Service Improvement Project. The bill also codifies the agreement reached between the administration and the Judicial Council, which aligns the pension and retiree health benefit structure of state-level employees of the judicial branch, excluding judges and justices, to state civil service employees. And lastly, the bill clarifies the statutory methodology used to calculate annual salary adjustments for state judges and justices, which is based on the average salary growth of state civil service employees.
So in broad strokes, this is consistent with the earlier MOUs that we've heard in past weeks?
Correct. Eric Stern with the Department of Finance. Yes, this is very similar to many of the MOUs that we've brought forward to this committee over the past year.
So that would be with regard to both general salary increases as well as employer and employee contributions for the unfunded liabilities of
Correct. This MOU includes general salary increases for the term of the contract, which is a 4-year term. There's a pre-funding of employee retiree healthcare contributions matching with the state, some changes to the benefit structure for new employees going forward as well, which is very similar in nature to the contracts we've seen with correctional officers, scientists, engineers over the last year.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stern. Colleagues, any question from our accountant?
No, I'll be opposed for the same reason as opposed to the other MOUs. We've got to learn to reduce our wage increases just because we're using that increase to pay down our retiree medical. We can come to the same conclusion, same cost if we reduce the increase of the wages and just have the state pay the retiree medical component, and then we don't have further impacts on the pension plan. So that's all I'm saying. That's what we did in Orange County, and I'm just trying to preach that. And so I'll be a no, Mr. Chair.
I understand. You could be selling yourself as a negotiator for Mr. Stern's job, so.
8 fun years of it.
Senator Moore, Senator Mitchell. We sometimes have some spots over here.
Colleagues, any other questions? Any public comment? We have a motion by Senator Roth. Call the roll, please.
AB 1620, the motion is due pass. Leno?
Aye.
Nielsen? Allen? Anderson? Bell? Block?
Aye.
Glazer? Hancock? Mitchell? Monning? Morlock? Wynn? Pan?
Aye.
Pavley? Roth? Stone? Wolk?
The vote is 14-1. We'll keep that open as well. I understand before we go back to the two items which we will hear, there may be committee members that need to get other places. So we're going to lift the calls. We'll replace the calls because there are still some members missing, unless we are all here. 1 second. 6, 7, 8, 9. No, we are a full house, so we're going to lift the calls and then close the items. starting with our first open item, which is AB 1600. Colleagues, our education trailer bill, AB 1600. If you could call the absent members, please.
AB 1600, the motion is due pass. Wolk.
All right, that is 17-0. Measure passes. In numeric order, 1605.
AB 1605, the motion is due pass. Bell. Block.
Aye.
Glazer. Wolk.
That's 12-5. Measure passes. AB 1607, call the absent members, please.
AB 1607, the motion is due pass. Bell. Block.
Aye.
Stone. Wolk.
Vote is 14-2. One member not voting. The measure passes. AB 1605, our first public safety trailer bill. Call the absent members, please. 1615.
AB 1615, the motion is due pass. Bell. Wynn. Pavley.
AB 1615, Public Safety 1. That will be 12-5. The measure passes. AB 1616, our second public safety trailer bill. If you could call the absent members, please. 16.
AB 1616, the motion is due pass. Bell. Roth.
That would be 14-13. Measure passes. And then the last call we need to lift is AB 1620. Call the absent members, please.
AB 1620, the motion is due pass. Allen. Glazer.
So the vote is 14-1. The measure passes. Thank you, colleagues. We have two more items before us, but again, we will not be taking action on them today. And we'll start with AB 1603, our Human Services Trailer Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you noted, AB 1603 is the Omnibus Human Services Trailer Bill. It has a number of general fund costs associated with it. In 2016-17, it's $465.8 million, and in 2017-18, it's $539.2 million. Again, in the interest of time, I'll just highlight a couple of the provisions. This trailer bill repeals the maximum family grant rule, as well as provides a 1.4% grant increase. The 1.4 grant increase is funded entirely with the 1991 realignment revenues. There's no general fund cost. The maximum family grant repeal, the resulting increased grant costs amount to $107 million, 95.1 million of which are general fund in 2016-17, and $223.5 million, of which $151.3 million are general fund in 2017-18. We project the additional grant costs associated with the maximum family grant repeal will be funded entirely by the 1991 realignment revenues beginning in 2019-20. This bill also includes the CalWORKS Homeless Assistance Program. Under current law, temporary and permanent housing assistance is available to eligible families only once in a lifetime, with certain exceptions. This trailer bill eliminates the once-in-a-lifetime restriction on the receipt of homelessness assistance, and instead makes it available to eligible families no more than once every 12 months, effective January 1st of 2017. This trailer bill also adopts the May revision proposal to provide a one-time cost of living adjustment of 2.76% to the state supplemental program portion of the SSI-SSP grant, and that will also be effective on January 1st of 2017. The costs are estimated to be $36.5 million general fund in 2016-17 and $74.8 million general fund in 17-18. AB 1603 also includes the establishment of a county matching grant program for SSI outreach to increase participation amongst homeless persons with disabilities who may be eligible for disability benefit programs. The 2016-17 budget includes one-time funding of $45 million general fund for this purpose. Lastly, AB 1603 includes the restoration of the 7% across the board IHSS service hours reduction. This was proposed by the administration and does restore the 7% across the board reduction to service hours while the newly enacted MCO is in effect.
Thank you, Ms. Costa. So colleagues, I think we can feel some satisfaction, though recognizing our work is far, far from complete in beginning to repair the social safety net that we so drastically had to tatter to keep our budget balanced over the worst of the recessionary years. Great thanks to Senator Mitchell for your leadership in repealing finally the maximum family grant, which was put in place by this legislature back in 1994. And though there will be some general fund cost, as Ms. Costa pointed out, in the budget year and budget plus one after that, it will not impact the general fund, but will be paid for through a subaccount, which is funded through county savings related to health care, specifically due to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. So that's great work, and we're finally going to bring some respect and dignity to children and families who are participating in our CalWorks program.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just to clarify.
I made a mistake again. Correct it for me.
It's expected there will be no more general fund needed for the maximum family grant repeal beginning in 1920.
1920, so I didn't go out far enough. 2019 and 2020. Thank you for the correction. We also have a few other items in this trailer bill which will either assist low-income families who are at risk of homelessness from becoming homeless, or helping those who are homeless find a roof over their head again. So this is part of a more comprehensive effort to deal with the fact that we've got so many people either on our street right now or close to living on our streets. So I think we can take some pride in that, as well as a one-time general fund investment of $45 million to help with case management at the county level for individuals who are eligible to receive the federal SSI, but currently are not. And given that they fall onto county general assistance roles when they're not getting this federal money, which is their due, there is incentive for the counties to work with us through this one-time outreach effort to get as many Californians eligible for SSI receiving it. Of course, Senator Monning.
Thank you. Question on the IHSS 7% restoration. It is linked to the MCO tax. Is there anything in the formation of this that would prevent an increase above this restoration during the term of this MCO tax? You understand my question? In
Jacob Poor with the Department of Finance. I think what you're asking is if there's anything in this trailer bill related to IHSS that would prevent going back to the 7 or above?
Above. This is a 7% restoration.
Correct.
Does it create a ceiling during the term of the MCO tax that you couldn't exceed?
No, there's no, so the way the program works, it's based on the number of hours that are assessed by the social worker for the recipient. So currently, or well, prior to 15-16, for the years that the reduction has been in place, what is generally done is they assess the hours and then they're reduced by 7%. So now the hours, and we've already had the restoration has been in effect. There was a one-time restoration for 15-16. Now it will continue through the duration of the MCO tax, but it will go, there will be no reduction applied. It will just be what the social worker assesses as the hours.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Monning. Anyone else? Yes, Senator Glazer.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to add my voice of appreciation to Senator Mitchell for her leadership on the maximum family grant.
Before you do that, let's make sure your mic is on because this is important.
There we go. Is that working now, Mr. Chairman?
Now it is. Now it is.
Okay. We need to put a little more money into our microphone system, maybe. Mr. Chairman, there we go. That's very loud. Thank you over there. Well, now that I have your attention, I just wanted to add my appreciation to Senator Mitchell for her wonderful leadership over many years on the issue of the maximum family grant. And I also wanted to thank the governor and the Department of Finance for your thoughtfulness in reviewing our proposal. And finally, Mr. Chairman, to you and our leadership here in the Senate for making this a priority. And I think for me, at least, as we close the budget down within the next couple of days, I'm certainly going to look at this as one of the most important things that we've done here this year, and I'm very appreciative.
Thank you, Senator Glazer. I learned a lot from Senator Mitchell through this process, and it is fascinating. I'm always fascinated by legislative history. When we try to repeal something, how did we get there? How did it happen? So when this did pass in 1994, so a little more than 20 years ago, 22 years ago, it was before the federal government's so-called reform of the welfare system. And at the time, this legislature put the maximum family grant in place. There was no time restriction on how long someone could be eligible for the benefit. There was also no work requirement, and it paid 80%, up to 80% of federal poverty level. Yes. Well, of course, after 1996, there are strict restrictions, and after the recession of 2008, we restricted eligibility time even further. There is a work requirement, and even at full benefit, it's only 40% of the federal poverty line, and we were denying families that would have a child while in the program any additional benefit for that child. So just needed repeal. Senator Mitchell saw it, ran with it, and here we are today. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. No public comment, no further comments from the committee. We will move on to our last item, 1609, which is our second general government bill. Ms. Costa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the general government trailer bill. And so again, I will highlight just a few items. In this trailer bill, we typically have many different provisions to deal with various aspects of state government. I'd highlight that AB 1609 amends the Medical Marijuana Regulation and Safety Act. This language helps us operationalize, it helps us put in place the regulatory framework necessary for medicinal marijuana. Additionally, within this, it establishes the Department of Pesticide Regulation will take sole responsibility for the development of guidelines for the use of pesticides for indoor and outdoor cannabis cultivation. And it specifies that the Department of Public Health will develop standards for manufacturing and labeling of all manufactured medical cannabis products. We also have within the general government trailer bill the local government financing. This is a section that creates one of our proposals, which was community-based transitional housing program. The budget bill will contain $25 million general fund for this program, and the bill authorizes a 3-year encumbrance period for that appropriation. We also have within the general government trailer bill 2 tax credits, the first of which is the low-income housing tax credit. It changes the sunset date of this tax credit from January 1st, 2016 to January 1st, 2020 on a statutory provision that allows low-income housing tax credits to be allocated among the partners in any manner and without regard to their ownership interest. This bill will also allow taxpayers who qualify for the low-income housing tax credit to sell the credit to an unrelated party as long as they can pay at least 80% of the credit amount. The second tax credit that's included in the general government trailer bill is the farm-to-food tax credit, which we talked about extensively in conference committee. And this language extends the existing donated fresh foods and vegetable tax credit from January 1st, 2017 to January 1st, 2020. And there were some technical changes that were required, including increasing the credit percentage from 10 to 15% and changing the method of how donated items are valued.
Thank you, Ms. Costa. On that second tax credit, the farm donations to food banks, we did have much conversation about it, and just wanted to say that it's one of those issues that have multiple victories in it, in that it will incentivize farm donations to our food banks, so food banks can get fresh fruits and vegetables that would otherwise find their way into our landfills and create more methane emissions. So this will also impact our ability to contain greenhouse gases, at the same time benefiting food banks, which means more low-income people who are food insecure will have the potentiality of finding some fresh fruits and vegetables on their table that they would not otherwise. And I'm looking at Dr. Pan as I think of all the children who will probably have better healthcare outcomes as a result. So that's not a bad bit of success for one little item. Anyone have questions on any other parts of our general government trailer bill? Senator Nielsen.
Mr. Chairman, I have to raise a huge issue, and it's related to our usual problem of major policy in trailer bills. Contained herein is an enormous issue that goes to the heart of historic water rights in California. It is extraordinarily objectionable, and it is extraordinarily significant. It is giving cannabis growers, medical cannabis growers, priority in water rights over all others, agricultural growers in California, and it exempts them from CEQA. It's going to put them at the top of the list, where all others who have ever applied takes up to 10 years and requires them to go through CEQA. Now, if you're growing medical marijuana, you go to the top of the list. There is no justification whatsoever in my mind for that priority. They should stand in line like everybody else. But at least because of the magnitude of this policy that goes to the core of our rights, our water rights, our private property rights, this should go through a policy committee hearing. It's cavalierly being done. And I will submit that growing for cannabis may be arguable. To me, it's arguable, but you could say for a purpose that you're going to help someone with their health. But cannabis growers in California have historically been the gross polluters in this state. I've worked for years with the Water Resources Control Board, the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and local law enforcement, sheriffs, to provide security for these state enforcement people to go out and try to do something with these gross polluters. Now, I'm not accusing any medical cannabis growers that may come to the bear, but that's 50,000 of them, and some of them may not be so upright and forthright. This is very objectionable, and I want that to be on the record. And again, it being done in a trailer bill, nobody in California is going to have much chance who's going to be affected, and that's hundreds of thousands of agriculturalists and private property landowners. This is all going to affect them. And the stream bed alteration permits that have now become so onerous, that's a whole other issue. Costly fines, inspections that we are all subjected to for doing the tiniest of things, diverting water to use for irrigation purposes. Now, all of these individuals are going to be exempted from that. And there is no way you can argue that the diversion of a cannabis grower can be any less harmful than one who moves it to irrigate pasture or any other crop. I have a problem with that. I would hope a lot of other people in California do too, and I'm going to be one voice that brings it to the attention of as many people as I can, and also the circumvention of the open government process by slipping this in, a trailer bill, in a very covert way.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. I hear the passion in your voice. Ms. Costa, if you'd like to respond.
I'll defer to my colleague as well, but I think, this is a brand-new regulatory framework that we're building to implement the legislation that was passed. It is a very aggressive timeline, and so, to your point of process, I think, the administration, and we have certainly testified on the general fund side of the ledger that we needed the resources and we need the statute in order to meet the statutory deadlines required of this new regulatory framework. I'll let my colleague, Mr. Murphy, speak more to the points that you raised around the water portion of the trailer bill.
Mr. Murphy.
Brendan Murphy, excuse me, Brendan Murphy, Department of Finance. I know we've had a robust conversation on this in the past, and I won't belabor the point except to say that there are both implementation aspects related to the bill, creating a different process. And I will say it is for the ability to get growers in to the regulatory process as quickly as possible. And then there's a secondary process that's being enunciated in the bill that is the long-term aspects, whereby everybody will have to come in with an enunciated, water right, and that is the long-term process. In the interim requirement will be different than it is for many other growers. Mr. Nielsen is absolutely right on that, but that is because of our regulatory framework and timeline to meet this.
Mr. Chairman, let me stipulate it, and being critical, it was a provision in the statute, and I argued that when I argued against the statute. So I give that the administration has got to do what they have to do with the statute. So when you point the finger, it has to be pointed at the legislature.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. So, colleague, yes, Senator Morlock.
Mr. Chairman, how does this bill differ from Assemblyman Woods or Senator McGuire's efforts? That they've got bills going as well to implement a regulation for marijuana. Is this the same, or?
Mr. Murphy, can you address that?
I will try. I have not read either of the senators' bills in depth recently. I will tell you that our bills are not changing the framework that was voted on last year. This is really, they're focused on the implementation of the framework aspects in the three bills that passed in September and were signed in October. And so what we're trying to focus on really is the regulatory framework that allows us to go forward. So I'm not absolutely positive what the differences are between the bills.
You're kind of paralleling, but they also provide for revenue sources, for fees and, and allocating revenues to certain municipalities to repair parks. And so I'm just curious, is that being considered as well as a revenue source for the next budget year?
No, the revenue source inclusive of here is the one that was voted on and approved last year, which is a regulatory fee structure. Basically, people who have to come in and be regulated to operate in the medical cannabis world will pay a fee to be regulated. So it's the exact one that's already been passed. There's no widening or broadening of that at this point.
What
you want a license, you will pay the fee, and that's how we're regulating out of the program.
What's the revenue that you're projecting for the fees for next fiscal year then?
We do not have that until we get through more of the regulatory process to actually get a very good emphasis. One, implementation is not until January 1, 2018.
It's zero for
so it's zero for next fiscal year. Even I can get that one right. But in the long term, as part of our regulatory review process, we're really trying to delineate the world that is out there in each part of the licensing entities. And so at this point in time, we honestly do not have, as you heard Mr. Senator Nielsen say, there's an estimate that it could be as high as 50,000 growers. It could be substantially less than that as well. So we really, part of the regulatory process is to go through and find out that Administrative Procedures Act and find out exactly who you're affecting through the open process and the public meetings that go on there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Morlock. Colleagues, before we close, I just want to correct an error. I made an announcement. This was on our Health Trailer Bill, AB 1605. I had announced the vote to be 12-5. It's actually 11-5. The last two bills that we heard, we'll take up for a vote on Wednesday. Otherwise, our work for today is concluded. I thank you for your attention and for your participation. I don't see any public comment on our last 1609, so we are adjourned.